Welcome everybody to episode number 65 of Gaming Culture Radio. I'm your host Tyler, joined as always by our three co-hosts. Let's start with Mike. How you doing today?
Dude, I feel like I died 2 days ago and I'm just here in spirit.
All right.
I swear.
Excellent. So,
Hell of a
lovely
night.
spirit you are.
Yes.
let's,
Peace be with you, Rami.
let's go next to Graham. How you doing?
I'm doing great over here. I'm literally freezing to death in the AC with a sweater on, but it's okay. It's not
Dude,
bad.
shut up.
You poor thing.
I figured I might get some sympathy thrown my way from you guys.
Oh yeah, tons.
Sissy.
All right. So, and also joining us is Eugene. How are you today?
I feel like I'm in the Sixth Sense, and I've been dead the entire time.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
kinda
two
with you.
dead people.
know,
It
this
sounds like
is
it's
gonna
gonna be a lively podcast
It's gonna be a
here.
weird show.
But
So, all right. So, if you want to join the conversation, everybody, before we get to news, please head on over to Facebook, join the Gaming Culture Radio forums. When you're there, submit questions to be read on the show. If they're read, you'll be entered for our monthly giveaway, which we'll actually be announcing next week. Had some difficulties with that today, so we'll be announcing that next week, and we'll get that prize out to one of our listeners that submitted a question. So, you can also get all your gaming news over at culturegaming.com for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and I believe PC. So head on over there and get all your gaming news at culturegaming.com. So let's get into news, guys. Destiny 2, we played the beta. Pretty decent time. And Bungie announced that Destiny 2 has more pre-orders than the first game did. And the Destiny 2 beta was the most played beta Bungie's ever had. So they didn't announce specific numbers, but more people played it, obviously, than the first one. And the first game had 4.6 million participants in the beta. So we're probably pushing 5 million, maybe more, for the beta for Destiny 2. So pretty good. I think it just kind of confirms the interest that I think we thought the game had. So we should we should see a pretty big launch for Destiny 2 here in just a month now. So looking forward to that. Up next, NBA Live 18, the beleaguered franchise from EA. It's going to include WNBA teams for the first time ever, and a demo of the game is going to be available on Xbox One and PS4 on August 11th. So next week you can try that out. And any progress you make in the demo is going to carry over to the game. Go ahead, Graham.
That's a good catch.
This wasn't the title that was announced for the Switch, right? The NBA one?
No,
That
it's
was
NBA 2K.
Okay, yeah. I
A
just wanted
much,
to
much
confirm.
better one of the two. So,
Yeah.
But
Now, I mean, I think this is a good mark for EA. I mean, they've struggled with the NBA Live franchise, and this is bringing them a lot of attention. So, I mean, this if they make a good game, this might actually put them on the map this year for a basketball game.
yeah, the problem is they just haven't made a good game. And
Yeah, that's true.
it went from absolutely horrible to not quite as bad, but it has yet to really compete with 2K in terms of quality. So hopefully they do it. I think even if they do, though, there's so many people that are just so set on playing 2K, it's going to be tough for them to break through.
Yeah. As far as basketball games go for me, the last one I played was NBA Jam on Super Nintendo. So really,
Nobody cares, Graham.
Yeah,
But
that's,
anybody
that's a
bring-
long time ago.
Yeah, and
Step up here.
my sports games have already been picked, but it's good
Yeah.
to see that NBA being picked up, and there are a lot of basketball fans out there. So I'm with Gene. Hopefully it does well and brings on some healthy competition between the two titles, and then the following game will be even better.
I think it's good for PR. It's good for
I do
PR,
too, yeah, I
definitely
do
for
too.
EA. Yeah, totally. I mean, no one's ever included the WNBA. You know, really, who's really included women's sports at all? You know,
FIFA
other
did.
than
EA did.
FIFA
with-
did?
UFC
Oh, did they?
it as well, right?
okay,
Yeah,
I didn't know
UFC.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, UFC, but yeah,
But yeah,
So
they
it
have
seems like
women's
it is
national team
kind of
in
a
FIFA.
trend.
okay.
So, all right, cool. Pre-orders for the SNES Classic Mini, the real pre-orders, not the ones that we had. That got
I don't want to talk about it.
They're going to go up in late August.
We
No
just skip
specific
this
date.
news.
What's that,
Yeah.
Graham?
I said, can we just skip this news one? I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I mean, this was actually confirmed by Nintendo,
Yeah,
so
Nintendo
Yeah.
said that late August will be the time for actual official pre-orders. They did not give a date that the pre-orders are going to go live, but be on the lookout like the last week of August. So if you're dying to get one, that's going to be the time to watch it kind of like a hawk, because once they're up, they're going to go real fast.
yeah.
And if you can let me go, just let me go. If you can let me know as soon as you guys know
Yes.
on Facebook or anything like that, it would be greatly appreciated.
On the
I hope
Facebook.
they give it time. I hope they give it time. You know, so that way we know when to get online. You know, I know the servers will be bogged down, but don't let it be a surprise at like 2 in the morning.
Yes.
You know, when I'm asleep and for a 30-minute window. You know, just let us know that 2 p.m. Eastern, Amazon, is going to have it. You can jump online then.
Yep.
Don't worry, be happy.
All right, so if you have a Nintendo Switch, you can get Resident Evil Revelations and Revelations 2 for the Switch this fall. And no date again given, but it just said later this year. So,
but still, more and more news I see, I keep seeing third-party support for the Nintendo Switch.
Capcom is huge on the Nintendo Switch. After they announced record sales on their new Street Fighter 2 game for the Switch, and really? they released a statement saying that they're full on Switch now after the success of it. So Resident Evil, a good franchise to have on the Switch. It's only $20 too.
Yep.
They did announce the pricing, so $20 each on those games.
Oh really? Eh? I think they're doing a bundled thing too.
Yeah,
right?
the $40 for the bundle.
Yeah.
So I think I'll pick this one up, to be honest with you.
Street Fighter 2 was the purest game that for the Street Fighter series, So I'm not surprised at all.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you can pick that up on Switch this fall. Up next, Sony sold fewer PS4s in the first quarter of the fiscal year this year than they did last year. So Sony's attributing this to the fact that Uncharted 4 released last year in the first quarter, but they did sell 3.3 million consoles this first quarter, which ended at the end of June, against 3.5 million last year. But the Q1 sales bring PS4 sales total to 63.3 million consoles, which is pretty good.
Yep,
So,
nothing wrong with those numbers.
Not at all. So, Graham, I know you're a fan of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yes.
Excuse me. That moved into third in concurrent players on Steam this week, overtaking Fallout 4. And only Dota 2 and Counter-Strike have higher concurrent player numbers all time on Steam than PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And Fallout 4, the unique thing about this is that Fallout 4 hit its peak at launch and then trailed off, while Battlegrounds has grown in popularity over time to achieve the 481,291 concurrent players it had this week.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I still think the number for Fallout 4, that's really good, seeing that Fallout 4 is just a single player.
Yeah, right.
Like, those other titles are like multiplayers, and those be support for a long time because friends get into it and get other people into it.
Sure,
but for Fallout 4, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, it is, but that was a highly, highly anticipated game, and that all happened right at launch, and it trailed off dramatically after, and that's not knocking the game, it's just that's how games usually are.
Well, it's like one of those games where when you finish it, you don't need to really go back to it, right? But the online ones, it's the replayability.
Well, like even like I remember like back in the day on Xbox Live, like I would look at the players that would be on Xbox Live for like Call of Duty at launch, and it would be like 300 to 400,000 people at a time.
Yep.
So for a game that's existed, I think those are pretty impressive numbers, especially for the same time. How much do you think it has to do with the announcement for the Xbox One?
I don't know. I don't know how much, but I know that it's a super popular game on Twitch. I'd say that has more to do with it.
Yes.
And just the kind of popularity that game has achieved on that platform. So maybe the Xbox One announcement has something to do with it, and there might be some players that are excited about getting it there and are trying it out. But I would say probably much more to do with popularity on Twitch.
Yeah, it's super popular.
So, all right, and then lastly this week, if you have EA Access on Xbox One, you can play Titanfall 2 now.
Woo!
So that game just came out this past week, and I already seen some players on my friends list playing it that I know have EA Access, and I'd never seen playing Titanfall 2 before. So great campaign, by the way, if you want to pick that up and play it, and a pretty cool multiplayer mode. So
yeah, I mean now's the time to get online and play because usually, EA Access brings in a lot of the amateur players, and I think the last time we all jumped in Titanfall 2 together it was a bloodbath on us. So yeah, so maybe we'll get some people in there that really have fresh meat and worse than us. So it'll be a good time to play.
And that'll be an achievement, by the way, if you're able to pull that off, being worse than us. But we hope you can do it. If you are, let us know. We'll jump back in. So that's it for news this week. Graham, what can we get in stores?
Well, like the news, there's not a lot of new releases for next week, but there are some titles that are definitely worthy of mention, so let's get down to business. So starting on the 8th, PS4 owners will be able to play these exclusives, which are Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, and Graceful Explosion. We also have the following PS4 titles releasing on the 8th, and these will share their release with other platforms. Those titles are Black Hole Complete Edition, Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, which for some reason it's not on the Switch yet, but I'm sure it's going to come out on the Switch. And the other titles are Masquerade Songs of Shadows and Batman the Enemy Within the Telltale series, episode number 1 called The Enigma. Now these 4 titles will also be seeing the light on Xbox. And of course, Batman the Enemy Within the Telltale series, episode 1, The Enigma, will also be available for PC gamers. So it looks like that they're going to keep going with that Batman series. The next new release scheduled is a title for the Nintendo Switch, and that title is Iron Cast. This game is slated for release on the 10th. So to end off the week, our final release will be an Xbox title, and that is called Jump Step Step. And this will be available on the 11th.
I've been waiting on that one.
Yeah. I don't know much about this one.
You hear the excitement in my voice.
Never heard of it.
It makes me want to jump and then step and then maybe step once.
In that same order.
Canadian.
Yeah, in that order. So, like I said, as you can see, not a whole lot going on. So, how about you, Mike? What you got for us?
Well, I actually do have some stuff going on over here. Let's start with what's free this month. This month for Games with Gold. Right now, it is Slime Rancher, and on the 360, you got Bayonetta. Both are quality games, so make sure you get a hold of that. PS4, you got Just Cause 3. It's a hell of a free game. It's a lot of fun if you like messing around with things. It's really sandboxy. Assassin's Creed, Freedom Cry, Super Motherload, Chicks Dig It. Snakeball, Downwell, and Level 22. And then let's see what they got for deals. There's actually a lot today. CD Keys has a $50 Xbox card for $42.74. It's free money. I don't know. Get it, man. Here's an interesting deal. This is probably because, college is starting back up, so this is like a college bundle. Lenovo IdeaPad 310 laptop, plus an Xbox One S 500GB Battlefield 1 bundle, plus Ghost Recon Wildlands for $500 from Anton Line via eBay. So that's not terrible at all, And all you got to do is find a TV, and there's plenty of TVs out there right now. I mean, if you don't have to have 4K, you can probably get a nice 42-inch for $250 at this point. Xbox One S 1TB Battlefield 1 bundle, plus an extra black controller for $269.99 from Newegg. Let's see here. The new Xbox One S wireless controller in red is $54.99 at GameStop. So if you like to collect your controllers, there's one right there. Xbox One Connect right now is $41 at Amazon. If you feel like switching your region on your computer, on Xbox.com, you can go to Japan and get Cobalt for free right now because that's what's the Games with Gold. And it's not illegal or it's not frowned upon or anything because everything is region free now. But, you still have to manually switch it. All right, so let's go over to the PS4. On the PS4, we have Resident Evil Biohazard used, $24.96 at Walmart. I'm guessing Walmart got into the used games because I've seen a lot of deals for used games at Walmart all of a sudden.
They've been selling used games for maybe 2 years now.
Really?
Because they have a video game trade-in program, and actually they usually offer more money than GameStop does. So you trade in your games and you get it on a gift card and you spend it at Walmart. And then they resell them. They're pretty cheap too. They're not that expensive.
Maybe it's been that long since I've gone into Walmart and actually bought a game. I mean, last time I looked, they were all brand new and in the case, So
yeah, they have like an 8-foot used game section now.
Oh, go figure. All right then. Injustice, both on the PS4 and Xbox One. Injustice 2. Canada.
Yes.
$49.96 wooden nickels.
Wooden nickels.
Amazon.ca. Yep.
It's starting to do a lot better. So, yay Canada.
Yeah, Last Guardian is down to $20 U.S. physical. So yeah, Fallout 4 brand new is $20 at Walmart. And last but not least, Street Fighter 5 is $20 right now at GameStop.com. Oh, there was one thing I did see. This may interest you guys since you guys are big Nintendo fans. Nintendo 2DS new with the new Super Mario Brothers 2. It's a bundle. It is $79.99. It has not gone on sale yet, but it is up on their website.
Wait a minute. 179 or 79?
79. No one in front of it. Nintendo 2DS new plus Super Mario Brothers 2 bundle is $79.
Okay. So I was thinking the new Nintendo.
Yeah, it's not the brand
like the XL.
one.
It's not the XL. Okay, it's
No,
the
it's
original
not the XL.
2DS. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a
That's
good
still
deal.
a really good
That is
deal.
a good deal. No, that's
It
a very
says
good
this Nintendo 2DS system comes with the new Super Mario Brothers 2 game pre-installed.
Yeah, I'm like, if that's the newest one that just came out, like that's like $100 off right there.
It's
Yeah.
not that. It's
Okay.
Yeah, they have it says new Nintendo 2DS XL right above it, $149.99. That's probably the going price for it because it's on Nintendo's site. But all right, boys and girls, that's gonna do it for me. What you got, Eugene?
All right, so we just have a few questions off of our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Which is Gaming Culture Radio Forums. Brian Richland asks, if you could create your own game, what would it be? I think we've touched up on this a few times, but it's nice to revisit. If we could make our own game of our dreams, what would it be?
That's an easy one for me. I always loved the sandbox games like Ultima Online and Star Wars Galaxies. So I'd probably take something between those two, squish them together, and put it out there. You know, an MMO. You know, you just go find, you go to a planet, find a spot that you want to put down your house, either craft or go kill things or do whatever it is that you want to do. Just muck around all day, That would definitely be what I would make.
I would go with, I would want to relaunch a franchise, and that would be Super Mario RPG. I have talked about it several times. It's one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo. I would like to see a sequel to that. It's just that Square owns the rights to that game, and it's unlikely that they're going to re-release it and work with Nintendo on the characters and everything for a new platform. But we can dream. Maybe
are they allergic to money or?
I mean, it's Square Enix. They are just notorious for putting things off, and they go for the big projects. Final Fantasy and Dragon Warrior and things like that. Dragon Quest, whether.
I think it would be insanely popular. So.
Hopefully, after the SNES Classic releases and a lot of people get to play the original, because the original is on the SNES Classic, that it'll gain some hype, and maybe they'll be like, okay, well, maybe we need to put this on the Switch or put this on 3DS.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll definitely see.
I'd probably go for kind of like Mike, an MMO type game, but I'd like to see something set like Wild West.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Graham, how about you?
Me? Okay, I'm a really big Simpsons fan. I'm not as big as I used to be, but I just love the old school ones and the whole world. So I think it would be awesome with seeing a next gen open world like Simpsons, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of directions they can go to make it awesome, but I would just like to put it into the creators' hands and just let them go with it. Even they have that mobile game Tapped Out. They could even do something like that, incorporate it into a game.
It'd be cool to see something in the South Park game type of spirit.
With The Simpsons. Yes.
Because the South Park game has so many cool references to the show, and you just find yourself laughing constantly. It'd be cool to see that with the Simpsons world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't say Maple Leaf Simulator, Grammy.
Well,
if I had two,
you'd only be able to play. You'd only be able to play it till the middle of April. So.
I guess that was a burn. I don't get hockey, so
yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, well, Yeah, I think that's great. Did you guys ever play Simpsons Hit and Run?
Yes.
It was so
Yeah.
fun.
I
Yeah, I
was
wish
just
they.
playing it recently. Well, not recently, but a few months ago. When I hooked up my GameCube, and I'm like, I'm going to play this game
That's a great
because
game.
someone gave me a whole bunch of like GameCube games, and I was basically just doing doing. Sometimes I do random searches like top games or whatever. So I was looking at like top Simpsons games, and that one might have been number one or might have been close to the top. And I'm like, I think I own that one. So
Yeah.
I found it and I start playing it, and yeah, the game was it's.
I'm sure it's up there. It's number one. Then probably like Simpsons Arcade. It's right after it or something.
Yeah, yeah. I liked, if you want to talk about the Simpsons game, the one that was out on the 360. I cannot remember what the name of it was.
The Simpsons. I think it was the movie game, wasn't it? It was just called the Simpsons game.
Whatever it was extremely robust, and it was, it was kind of like Simpsons with like a Far Cry 4 sort of thing, where you had all the collectibles and everything, and you had to go through the story, and there was just so many things to do in that game.
You played as each of the characters, and it had a story and had animated scenes. Yeah,
Yep.
that was just. I think it was just called the Simpsons game. Yeah,
That
I
was
played
an excellent game, and
Yeah, it was great.
somehow that DVD, CD, whatever went missing twice. So if they ever put that on backwards compatible, I will pick that up.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah,
that
for
game
sure.
too. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right. What else we got?
All right, debate time. So
Bait.
I think this might spark a little bit of debate or a little bit of talk. Rami Tabari, he's been on the show before.
Yep.
If you're getting an Xbox One X, are you going to buy a 4K TV specifically for that? Because in total, that'll run you around $1,000, which really it might run you a little bit over
Yeah, I'd say
$1,000.
It should
Yeah.
run you more than that, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so is that worth it? So really, if you do the math, so $500 for the Xbox One X, right?
Mhm.
$500, and then I've seen 4K TVs. Like I was looking at, I was showing somebody because they're talking about on this forum I was on, like, is Australia and Aldi's. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Aldi's, the grocery.
Yeah.
Which overseas is a lot bigger than it is in the U.S. It's still big in the U.S., but a lot bigger overseas.
Such good prices, though, dude.
Yeah, very, very good prices. But apparently they sell TVs overseas.
Okay.
And they had it was a 4K, and I want to say it was a 55-inch, and it was like $500 Australia dollars, which translate, I think it would have been like $700, $800 US, which I'm like, man, and then I went on Walmart.com and I found like a 60-inch Samsung 4K, and it didn't have HDR10, it had the basic HDR, and it was $500, and so you can get a low-end 4K TV, but if you want the full HDR capability, you're going to probably end up spending $1,200 to $1,300 total with the Xbox.
Well, here's what I'll say, and I've said this before many times on the show. Don't buy a 4K TV unless you're getting HDR and true HDR. It's just not worth it. The TV that that I love to promote is the Vizio P series, and that one you can get a 50-inch now for $800. So that's a very, very good TV. I have the 65-inch version, and Mike, I know you can attest to it. The 4K on that thing is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, it is very much so.
The HDR is fantastic. So it's one of the highest rated TVs. There's a site out there, ratings.com. It's rtings.com. And basically it breaks down 4K TVs in terms of quality for what you want. So it breaks it down in terms of, like, do you watch sports? Do you watch movies? Do you watch a lot of TV? Do you play games? Do you whatever? And it rates the TVs for each of those individual things. So you can pick one that suits you the best. And that's what I did, and this one was the one that was rated highest for what I was looking for, mostly for sports, movies, and games. And I'm super happy with the purchase. But like I said, you can get the 50-inch for $800 now, or give or take maybe $900. I don't know. But that's a pretty good price for a 50-inch 4K with full HDR capability. As far as the original question goes, for me, if I buy the Xbox One X and I didn't have a 4K, I would buy one eventually, because you're not getting the full capability of the console without one. And when you factor in, hey, 4K Blu-ray players are still like $250, $300. It's it's slightly more than that, or if you get a 250 one, I guess it's double for the gaming console too. and the One S has a 4K Blu-ray player with HDR, so you're getting that for the same price, and you're getting a console with it. So I think I'd go with the S or the X, depending on what you want. If you want the higher, more powerful console, get the X. If you're happy with not having the super greatest, processor and all that stuff and gaming capability, then get the S.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Yeah. All right. I mean, I have pretty much the same feelings on it. So me repeating everything you just said is not going to do any good.
Right.
But let's put it this way: if you already have a 4K TV, might as well get an X. If you don't have a 4K TV, just wait till you can get them both at the same time. That's just my opinion.
And Best Buy has been known to put out bundles for like Samsung TVs and Xbox together for super good prices, and they usually do it like during back to school for college, and then right around Christmas. So watch for that.
Yeah, definitely be looking at Black Friday. There might even be a Black Friday bundle with the Xbox One X, so be looking out for that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Black Friday. Now, as far as go, I wrote an article talking about this, and my scenario is I own an Xbox One S, and I have a 4K TV. It's not HDR capable because I bought the TV just before HDR was becoming a mainstream and popular thing. So, as far as buying an Xbox One X without having a 4K TV, then eventually you're going to get a 4K TV. And it's already talked about how it improves like 1080 TVs, and it's probably going to load so much faster. So it does make the experience a lot better. Whether it's worth throwing out all that cash just to make it that much better, then not really. But if you plan on getting a 4K TV in the future, well, then you're kind of future-proof by having the latest and greatest system. Now, if you already own an Xbox One S, though, the incentive is not there as much because you will still have a 4K Blu-ray player that is capable of HDR. So it's easier if you just have a normal Xbox One and then go to the Xbox One X and then get a 4K TV. But if you have a 4K TV and you have an Xbox One S already, then there's not a lot really to drive you. Sure, it does look a lot better, but not like mind-blowing and game-altering, changing, or whatever.
But I do.
So,
you go ahead, Graham. Sorry, and then I'll go.
Yes. Well, I was gonna say, so I don't know. It's tough to justify it. Basically, you got to see financially if it makes sense. If it's a bit of a risk financially, then it's not worth it. Just wait out till prices drop, and then I would jump on it.
Here's the thing: if you're willing to buy a 4K TV, like right now, and you're deciding between the X and the S, if you're willing to invest in a 4K TV, but you're not quite willing to invest the extra $150 or $200 into the X.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. Plus, I want to make sure everybody knows that if anybody says that games are going to perform the exact same on the S and the X because they both have HDR, that is not correct at all. If you look at what Forza gameplay looked like at E3, that is on the X. It is not going to look like that on the S. It's still going to look good, but it's not going to look like that.
Yeah.
What we saw of Assassin's Creed is not going to look like that on the S.
Yeah.
So you're getting much, much better looking games on the X. And it just depends on how important that is to you. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to, I guess.
Yeah. Like, there's no day and night difference. So if you're just looking for a little better experience, then it's worth it.
To me, honestly, when I saw Forza and I saw Assassin's Creed, that is night and day difference to me.
Oh. Yeah, mine was even. Pretty sure Wolfenstein was in 4K as well, right? In true 4K.
Yep.
So our next question kind of it ties in a little bit with this last one. So Sean Capusta posted on our Facebook group. He posted a link to an article, and the title of the article is "The Nintendo Switch is the only new console that really matters," and it's specifically referring to this holiday season, the upcoming year. With what console really matters, which it dives into how the last real iteration of consoles that we had it's been 5 years, guys.
Yep.
It's been 5 years this holiday. 2012.
Four.
Yeah.
It was 2013.
4 years. 2013. So, I mean, it's been 4 years. So, The article says 5, so the article's inaccurate.
Yep.
I'm looking at it. So it's been 4 years. You're right, 2013. So it's been a while, which usually we'll get a 5 or 6 year console life cycle, but the article states that which I agree, the Nintendo Switch is filling a unique role right now, which the Nintendo Switch has month by month now, I think, led the way in console sales, and I'm sure it would be a lot more if they had the consoles in stock, because I'm still not seeing it in stores. It's rare. I'll see them pop up, but
Go fast.
I can't just go on the shelf every day and just buy one if I wanted to. I can't do that. I have to be looking out for it and be listening out too. So how do you guys feel about the success of the Switch, and is it really the console that really matters?
Well, I was gonna another thing too, but I referenced this article I wrote. That was another thing that I wrote. Like, is it worth buying the next system when you have like Xbox One S when you could buy like a Nintendo Switch? And I recommend for everyone in the world to buy a Nintendo Switch and play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So, but no, Mario's coming out with it. Mario and Rabbids, like the Switch, I think is just going to keep getting more and more popular. This holiday season, I feel it's going to dominate, and I got a feeling that it's going to outsell the Xbox One X just because a lot of people still have like Xbox Ones or One S, and they're still playing a backlog of games and stuff like that. And the thing is, they're still getting free games every month. So if they buy this Nintendo Switch, well, then they have access to like so many other games, and now these games are portable, and like Skyrim's going to be coming out on it. And, well, Skyrim's getting pretty old now, but still some people haven't played Skyrim, and they will jump in on it and stuff like that. So, no, I think the success of the Switch has been great, and I'm sure it's still going to be selling strong for probably most of next year, which I'm definitely excited. And I'm glad I got mine on day one. I keep saying that because I wouldn't want to hear all this talk about the Switch, and then I'm like, I can't get them anymore. So basically, I've learned with Nintendo, if you want one, you're better off just get one day one, and then you'll be happy because you won't be trying to fight and wish you got it on day one.
Mm-hmm. So and really with the article, maybe I need to rephrase my wording. So new console, and the new consoles it's referring to is the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One X, and the Nintendo Switch. To you, Graham, which one is the most important in the gaming world right now?
Oh, I would say the Switch. But the other two are basically just upgrades. But like the Switch just brought a whole different gaming experience and stuff like that, and it's bringing back like Nintendo franchises.
Oh yeah,
which are the best.
I agree. I totally agree.
I'll say this: I'm super happy for Nintendo for the success of the Switch, and they need it after the way the Wii U kind of went.
Yeah.
And it's a fun console. Is it the most important console in my mind? Absolutely not, because for most gamers, it's never going to be the only console you need.
This is true.
Because I think it was either Bungie with Destiny 2 or it was Respawn with Titanfall 2. They were asked if the game's coming to the Switch, and they laughed. Because they said that console can't even come close to handling this game.
Yeah.
And it is not a powerful enough console to carry major third-party releases in 2017 and beyond, to make it so that it's the only console players need. Right. It offers a different kind of game for a different kind of player, and in some ways a supplemental experience for like what you call your hardcore gamers.
Right.
That's fun and that's great, and I love it, and I enjoy the Switch too. Yeah. But the Switch could never be the only console I have, and yes, it's unique and it does something different, but graphics-wise, it can't compare. The ability to interact with people is abysmal, and it's embarrassing on that console. I'm sorry, but it is. You can't have party chat without your cell phone, and adding you need like a special code to add friends and stuff. That's ridiculous, and way behind the times. So I know we love to talk about how forward thinking it is, but in some ways it's not at all. But it is what it is. It's a fun console that offers a fun experience and some games that you can't play anywhere else, and that's they're to be commended for that. but it'll never
Yeah.
be the only console I need.
So
But
I
I'm not saying the only console, but I mean out of the ones coming up. So basically, every game coming out now for the Xbox One X, you can still play on the Xbox One.
Sure.
So there's really nothing pushing me like, okay, I gotta get this Xbox One X. Like, I would buy the Switch over the One X anytime because I already have ability to play those games. Like, I know, like The Witcher 3, obviously you can't play that on Switch. It's an amazing game. So, like, I know there will be titles that the Switch will not be able to handle and stuff like that. But as far as, like, compared to the PS4 Pro, no, I don't need that.
So I kind of have two sides, and I agree with you guys both that for the spirit of the question, yes, the Switch does not compare to the PS4 or the Xbox. It doesn't. It has its own uniqueness. The spirit of the question is, what's the most important? Like, and when I think of the most important, like, if the Xbox One X doesn't sell, the PS4 Pro really didn't sell too well. It didn't sell as much. Yeah, it wasn't huge. It's far more important to the success of Nintendo.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, so it is definitely. I feel it's the most important, but I agree with you, Tyler, that it's not going to compare to the Xbox One X, not by tenfold. It's not. But I really think they can hit it off this holiday season. What it comes down to is, will they be in stock? Like, every store that you go to will need probably 100 Switches. Like, any major retailer will need at least 100 Switches. That's 100 customers per store, thousands of stores. That's what you're going to need to get the Switch out there in people's hands. I mean, it's already sold. Like, I want to say the Wii U in total sold about 12 million units.
Yeah, it was like 12,
and
13.
and is the Switch is upwards of, isn't it 6 million now?
Yeah, it's going to pass it by this time next year.
It may have been 7 million. I forgot what the figures were, but like, it is huge across the world. And so it's already like surpassed. And you've got to think too with the Switch, like, what months are we in? It started in March. It came up for sale in March, and it's August, and it's already made these huge figures. We haven't even hit a major holiday season yet.
Plus,
so I think in 1 year the Switch is going to outsell the Wii U easily.
Oh, I agree.
If they keep it in stock.
Plus, I would argue that the game that's going to move the most consoles hasn't come out yet.
Mario.
Yep. And I know you love Zelda, Graham, but it's not the most mainstream game that Nintendo has.
No, I know. Because it's more of an acquired taste, too, right?
Yeah. And
Mario,
you say Nintendo to somebody, what character do people think of?
Mario.
Yeah.
So, when that game comes out, as long as it's good, and I have no doubt that it will be, that's going to move some consoles if they're in stock.
Right.
So, I see it blowing Wii U sales total out of the water by this time next year.
Yeah.
But just one more thing too is it's something Nintendo, their fault is, they have their big titles. They're gonna have, we already know Metroid's coming out, Yoshi, Kirby, Zelda's already out, Mario's coming out. Those big titles are coming out, and they're gonna be continued sellers for the console. Their biggest issue is their multiplayer titles. And so I read an interesting article the other day. I forgot if it is Kotaku or IGN, but they're talking about ARMS. And it was Nintendo's multiplayer fighter game, which actually sold, I want to say it sold like 3 million copies, which is excellent for a fighting game that was only on the Switch. Like, it's something like 50% attach rate, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The title of the article is Nintendo's ARMS has no legs, which means basically, after a month, nobody cares about it anymore. Not many people care about
That's
it.
what I was worried about.
It's kind of the same way with Mario Kart. I was excited about it the first month, which I'm sure there's still a lot of players on it online, but I've lost interest in Splatoon. I bought it 2 weeks ago, and I've already kind of lost interest in it. And I think that's one of the biggest faults with Nintendo is the multiplayer infrastructure and having that strong multiplayer infrastructure to support those games. Because ARMS is a multiplayer game, Splatoon multiplayer, Mario Kart multiplayer. So build up that multiplayer infrastructure, and they're going to get a higher attachment rate with games, and they're going to get more sales for their console.
Yep. I really want them to fix their party chat, because to me, the social experience and experiencing things with friends is the best part of gaming for me. And like last night, we got on Graham, and I think we were chatting, you, me, and a couple others for like 3 hours, and we never played a single game.
No.
We
But I could have been playing like Legend of Zelda on the Switch and still talking to you guys over Xbox Party Chat.
Right. But that
So-
doesn't. But okay, so you're gonna.
I know.
tell us
You
they have
should be
buy
able to
another
use that
console to do it?
system. Yeah, basically.
That's
But like, even when I first started playing Xbox and got on Xbox Live, and then I had friends who, I guess it was the PS3 or whatever, and they never had party chat. And right there, I was like sold on like Xbox over PlayStation because I can't believe you can't do party chat on PlayStation.
Yep.
So they did miss that boat. But then Nintendo should realize, okay, this is what everybody wants. This is the big thing. So let's get this right.
plus you're
So
talking like
it
PS3, right?
Yeah.
That's 2005. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I
this
mean.
This
Like,
is 2017. You should have this figured out.
it is mind blowing that was something that was just undercited or whatever. Like,
What,
it just
I guess what gets
really
me,
make-
Graham, is that they didn't think people would care that you have
Yep.
to do it this way.
Like,
you- this
it would
is
seem
an
like it was almost
expectation.
developed as like a tag along system. It's like, okay, this will be their main system for playing with their friends and stuff like that. But maybe some of them will want to play this or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I mean, it's a great console, and it does a lot of really cool things. But that part to me is just unacceptable.
Switch 2.0, is that what we're waiting for now?
What's that?
Did Switch 2.0, is that what
Yeah.
we're waiting for now?
I guess.
The upgrade that
So-
offers party chat
The
support.
new Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
XL.
the new. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. After they sell 15 million of them, now they'll come out with one that. Has
Actually,
it.
they're gonna come out with the Mini first, though. It's gonna be
Yeah,
the
probably.
Switch Mini.
So, anything else, Eugene?
Nope, that's it for this week on questions.
Anything else, guys, before we get out of here?
Nope.
So, I think this is like our shortest episode ever. We're going to be about 43 minutes. So, we apologize for that. But we'll have a lot more to talk about here in the coming weeks as games start to come out. We're only about a month away from the kind of unleashing all the releases onto us for the next 4 months. So, we'll have plenty to talk about coming up soon. Plus, we have games coming in a couple weeks, so we'll have plenty to talk about then. Well, we want to thank you for joining us for episode number 65. And a reminder, head on over to Facebook, join the Game Culture Radio forums, submit questions to be read on the show, just like these people did, our listeners tonight. And you'll be entered to win in our monthly giveaways. Also, head on over to culturegaming.com for all the latest on your gaming news for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. So, for Graham, Mike, and Eugene, I'm Tyler saying thank you so much for joining us for number 65. We'll be back next week with episode number 66. And until then, everybody, have a great week. Stay safe, play some great games, and we'll talk to you next week.
Boogie,
See ya.
everyone.